Hello, everybody, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Wednesday, the 10th, 11th of December. I'm losing my days here. I would like to talk a little bit today about Lego. The reason I'm mentioning this is, well, I'm recording this at home, and over here is Lego Station. My husband has created a Lego station out of my dining room table, my kitchen table. Here we have the sun, the moon, and the earth, and it rotates in seasons. And we have Notre Dame Cathedral up here. Um, that is just enough. This is just a touch of the hundreds, I think, of kits that he has of Lego. But what I wanted to talk about is the absolute ingenuity of Lego itself. For those of you who don't know, I'm trying to find a piece of Lego here. Lego, probably everybody's heard of it before, but Lego consists of all these tiny little pieces. Well, these are really small because he's been working on Santa's workshop or Santa's post office or something for a display he has for Christmas. But they're blocks that you put together and they're meant to interact. Like they stick together with little bumps, and they come in different shapes and sizes, and you can use Lego pieces to create anything. There is the original stuff that I had when I was a kid where you just have a whole bunch of pieces, and I used to fairly consistently make RVs, motorhomes. I would take the green box bottoms and put the wheels in the bottom and windows and doors and furniture and bunk beds and things like that. Sometimes it would be a double decker, sometimes it would be a double wide. That was my creativity. We even had a little tree that would go for the outside, or at Christmas would be my Christmas tree. But my husband is really into kits. He loves Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and City and Creator and Icons and like you name it, he's got it. And he's had them for years, long before I met him. His mom gave him Lego when he was a child, and then he was hooked. And he has been using Lego forever. And it's a great hobby. It uses creativity. In his case, it's great because what he does is he's not using his imagination. He's using instructions, and they come together to build things like Notre Dame. But what I find really incredible about Lego is a couple of things. The actual company, and though this is not an advertisement for people to go out and buy Lego for Christmas, although it's a great gift for men and women, children, boys and girls, the works. But Lego does a few different things. They have these opportunities for people to send in their ideas. And then if their idea is chosen, they bring them in and give them access to all the different pieces of Lego they want. And then they can create a kit. And if it wins this contest, then that becomes a creation kit a kit that is then sold, that was imagined by a Lego participant. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? They also have things where if you're done with your Lego, you can send it back to Lego and they will re-gift it to someone who doesn't have it for um, different programs that help children. It's amazing. And it's the one thing that just seems to keep on going. Lego seems to be an endless thing. There's no going out of season with Lego. But what I like about it the most is that it's something that allows my husband, and in particular, I'm talking about Rob, allows him the opportunity to use his creativity, to put his mind to work in ways that don't necessarily require his whole brain. There are lots of times when it's awesome for someone to have to use their own creativity in drawing or in art or in building something from scratch or in using Lego to just be creative and, create your own thing. But there are times in life, especially if I think for adults and people who have worries on their mind, there are times in your life when you're thinking about things and you need something to keep you occupied. Something that takes enough thought that you don't have to worry, but doesn't take up enough space in your brain that you can't do two things at once. So at any given time, like right now, here, I'll show you. Just don't get seasick here. I'm going to show you a picture of this is my dining room table. And that is did you see that? All those Lego kits? Those are kits that Rob has purchased and he hasn't put into his computer yet because he keeps a log of what he has. And then that helps me to not purchase him the same ones for Christmas when I remember to look. But anyway, this is the world I live in. But in this world that I'm living in, because right now, of course, as you may know, Rob is in the process of being medically released from the military. He's heading out of what he's been doing for a considerable, significant part of his grown-up years. And that's a tough thing to be doing. And there's a lot of decisions that need to be made and a lot of information coming at you. And all of it is hard and confusing and life changing. And that can be really good. But at the same time, it can also be very frightening and it can be incredibly overwhelming. And I can usually gauge his state of overwhelming or how he's feeling by what he's doing when I get home from work. Because quite often, when I get home from work, if he's home before I am, his computer will be open because most of the Lego kits now also have not just the instruction books in the boxes, but they have the instructions online. So he'll have that online. He's got music playing in the background, likes to listen to Metallica, Five Finger Death Punch, things like that. But he's also a fan of show tunes. And he'll have music on the background. He'll have his Lego out, and he'll be putting things together, bag by bag, one piece by one piece, until, for instance, like Notre Dame, is completely put together. It's not put together haphazardly. There's a particular way it has to go together for it to work out. Because if you don't do it the right way, the foundational structure, the integrity of the structure won't work, right? But he's given the instructions and it allows him to work away at those pieces that he's working on while his brain is comprehending and thinking about and figuring out what happens next in the rest of his life. And that's a beautiful metaphor, I think, for our hobbies and the things that we do to take our mind off of. Have you ever been in a situation where you just needed to take your mind off something? So maybe you go for a walk, maybe you walk your dog, maybe you play with your cat. Some people go and play squash or tennis. Some people go for a skate. Some people call up a friend on the phone. We all probably have something we do that takes our mind off of something. But does it really actually take our mind off of it? Or does it simply allow this miraculous organ that God has planted in our heads? Does it take our mind off it? Or does it distract part of our brain so that the other part of our brain can do the work of figuring things out? Have you ever gone to sleep with a problem in your mind and you wake up and you just know the answer? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that ability for us to let go of the worry, to get our hands and our minds working on something else, so that the rest of our brain and our whatever else it is that's working in us, the Holy Spirit guiding us, all those things, that we can pay attention to something else, so that over here, the other part of us that's going in all the time, helping us to breathe and all the things are happening, can do that work in the background of making it happen. It's kind of like Santa Claus and Santa's elves. Santa Claus is busy up in the office, making the lists, marking them twice, checking to see who's naughty and nice, checking in with parents, and keeping an eye on all of us, however he does that. And while he's busy doing that, well, that's one part of the North Pole. The elves are all busy working on all those things behind the scenes in their little elf workshops, putting together the dolls and the Lego packages and all of those things that are needed for Santa Claus to then open the doors and receive all those things that are already put together, those problems that are solved, and then deliver them to everybody else. In so many ways, our brains, I think, are like the North Pole. We have to have some things that distract us, to keep us from worrying, to keep us from gnawing on a bone that's only going to get sharper as we chew on it, that won't help us in the long run to figure things out. When we allow ourselves to be distracted, when we allow ourselves to have that hobby, the Lego or something else, to work on that, and we pay attention, solely pay attention to that and make sure we do it well, making sure each piece goes exactly where it should, so the integrity of the structure is there. We sometimes find, probably for me anyway, quite often find, that in my efforts to do that thing over here that seemed to distract me, the rest of my brain, the rest of my psyche, the rest of the part of me that has been praying to God and saying, okay, I need your Holy Spirit to guide me. God has said, here, pay attention over here. Direct your attention over here while I work over here. And eventually what happens is not only do I have the peace of mind and the distraction and the joy of whatever it was I was working on here. Like Rob, the joy Rob had on completing Notre Dame the day that Notre Dame was finally opened up to the public. I also have this incredible sense of, oh, yeah, that's how I need to deal with that, or that's what I need. That's what's been missing. Things that my brain needed permission, like the elves of the North Pole, to work on with God's help over here when I wasn't paying attention and grabbing stuff back and saying, no, 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 this is what you have to pay attention to. I need this distraction. In this season of anticipation, of getting ready for Christmas, getting ready for what happens next, for the new year, for new jobs, or whatever might be happening, it's really, really important that we recognize those moments when our brains and our bodies are saying, I need a break. I need to think about something else. Because when our bodies and our brains say, enough, I can't handle this anymore, I'm going to pull my hair out, that's a really good sign that this other part of, I don't know where in our brain, what part of our brain works that way, but I think over here. So when this part of our brain is saying, we've got this, but you need to leave us alone for a little while, that's when this part of our brain says, let's go do Lego. Let's color a picture. Let's go for a walk. Let's play a video game. Let's do something that doesn't quite require as much thought. That's when the rest of our who we are can kick in and say, ah, that's how that goes. I don't know whether we call that the subconscious. I like to call it the Holy Spirit or Santa's elves. Whatever it is that we're doing, we all need that Lego break. We need that moment when we can focus on something else so that what we're truly thinking about isn't the thing that's distracting us. Our brains need to be able to work in two separate ways for us to fulfill who we really are. So if you find yourself becoming distracted, or if you find yourself really leaning toward that hobby when you should be getting this done, maybe lean into that. Lean into the idea that your brain might be telling you, leave us alone for a little while. You've got other things you can do while this inner part of you goes to work on that project, on that thought, on that memory, on whatever it is that's happening. The problem solving. It's okay. It's okay sometimes to say, I can't do this work any longer. I'm going to take a break and go over here and do Lego, or read a book, or go for a walk, or play a game, or have a nap. And when we come back, then we might have the better ability to focus. We bring together the work that Santa did up in his office and the work the elves were doing in their stations. Bring them all together and have the beauty of Christmas morning when the entirety of the gift can be unwrapped. I am beating this Christmas theme to death, aren't I? Have a great day, everybody. God bless you. I will see you again tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachel.